All right, guys, so I got asked a lot of questions about how am I making the gun float and what does it take to do that and what is my setup. And so I'm going to preface this that this is the Temu / Wish / low budget version of what you may see like someone like Hector Sobrian or, Holosun Josh, what they do. But the reason is I take this outside a lot. So, and I move it around. So mine has to be highly mobile. And to do that, it's got to be robust enough to survive me transporting it. If I'm out in the woods bouncing around the four-wheeler, it's got to be enough that, or side-by-side, that's going to survive all of that. And so this is my version of what the setup looks like and what works for me. I will say it's not the best, but it works for what I'm doing. So one, you got your camera set up over here. I would highly recommend, they're like super cheap. You can get it for like $10, $15 on Amazon. It's a hot shoe. This is called the hot shoe up here. But in essence, this unit plugs in and allows you to remote control your camera. So you guys can see on there, and I can take a picture remotely. The reason is I can adjust stuff and then kind of look real quick, hit the button as I'm doing stuff. But also, I'm not interacting with the camera and pushing something down and accidentally moving the camera a little bit too much or, screwing anything up. Anyways, the most important thing is what's right here. So there my gun is. It's floating. Whatever you use, you want to keep as much distance as you can from the bottom of the mag down, for the mere fact you have to edit everything down below that. So you want to have some room where you're not going to have to edit 4 feet below it, because then you got to make sure the background doesn't blur, that when you heal the photo, which is kind of editing things out, it looks okay, things like that. So this is kind of what I do. Your other option is you can manually focus your camera and take 2 different photos. One with your foreground, which is this guy, then remove this without changing any of your lighting. Keep the focus still up in this area where your subject is, then take another photo so it blurs the background. Then using like Canva, which is a crazy good app, you can superimpose this, remove the background, put on top of this. Looks great. It's the better way to do it. However, not everyone wants to do all that. If you keep some distance, you can edit this stuff out. It doesn't look terrible. Now, what is this? So I'm going to take the gun out here. So let's take our Galil out of here. And sorry, that's going to be loud. It's a KCI mag right there. Drill the hole in the bottom of it. Drill a couple actually to find out exactly what I wanted. And then there's a fully threaded rod with a washer and a nut. And I use the nut to lock the washer in. And then this goes in here. All the internals are removed. It articulates because the top of this rod hits here and holds it in place. All right, so that's what the gun goes on. And then I've just got an old tripod with the arm taken out. Usually there's an arm here to move around. That hole is where I put that rod through, and it just balances itself out. I do have to use counterbalances at times or make the legs different angle points so that it doesn't rock back or forth. You can do the same thing with 5.56. Again, it's just a PMag, done the exact same thing. I did put a nut and washer on the inside of this as well, because I found it worked a little better, and you can't move it up and down as much. The only difference is this tends to slide off the base, so you gotta be careful when you're setting your photo that's leaning forward, and then it locks it into place. For pistol, which you guys have seen some of the photos I usually do more rifle, but when I'm doing pistol, literally I just take this, I unlock it so it can be moved, and I move that forward or up. See, now it's horizontal. Put the legs down here. You'll see why I'm doing this in a second. And then I have a completely smooth rod. I put tape on there so that the end of it is not messing up my barrels or anything. I put it through there. I'll usually put a counterbalance somewhere on the other side. And then I'm going to take just a light gun. So let's take our Masada Slim. And what this does is when you lock it in place the right way, and again, this was set up for rifle, so when you lock it in place, you just edit from here out. Because with a pistol, there's less interaction because they're lighter. And so I just edit from here over out, and it's exactly the same thing in theory. Now, the rods, the thread rod and the smooth rod here were like $6 to $8, I want to say, at Home Depot. The tape is literally just neon green duct tape or neon yellow, whatever you want to call it, from Walmart. And I just gives me a point to know where to edit out and where not to, so there's nothing left in there. You can use it with suppressors. I do that all the time. So find a, I just need a relatively light gun. You know, we got the tour, or the Saba. And again, the only real thing here is the more weight you add, the more you have to counterbalance it. That's really it. So you can do two things to counterbalance it. One, you can obviously put something on the other side to act as a counterbalance. You can manipulate the legs. You can make this more in frame or less. Because obviously the closer this is to what's holding it, the less you need counterbalance on the other side. Again, this is the Wish version, the Temu version, the super low budget, super low cost version of this. There's better ways to do it. There's cooler ways to do it. But this is stuff that I really can't break for the most part. I take with me wherever I go, and I don't have to worry about, you know, destroying a $500 setup or something like this. So anyways, guys, that's what I'm using to do it. In terms of editing stuff, I use Lightroom, I use Canva. Either one of those. Lightroom obviously has a lot more options, but Canva allows me to do something super quick on the fly, and I really enjoy using that because I can do it with my phone, my iPad, and just, you know, knock stuff out pretty quick. But anyways, guys, that's the setup. That's how you get this look, how it floats. You can do it from any background you want, flags, banners, your house, woods, whatever. And it's relatively easy to do. The hardest part is figure out what kind of counterbalances you need, how you're going to do it. Usually if I'm out in the woods, I'll just push this stuff up against a tree, and the tree just holds it in place, which is a whole lot easier because I can move everything around to wherever a tree's at, to what I want. Here in the house, I have to do counterbalances, I have to find, you know, the carpet area that works just fine. But anyways, guys, that's that. Hopefully enjoyed it. Hopefully understand now kind of how this goes behind here, and hopefully it helps. Thanks, guys.